So instead of, I think it's around 600 mark or points in the Leaving Cert,
Right.
it's 2 H4s for Holland.
Right.
So it's a
So
lot.
you knew when you got them you were
I was fine. Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
And did you sit many then as well, or
I sat 5.
at 5?
Yeah, I sat 5. Yeah.
And say, like, I suppose because obviously there would have been students in every school around the country. There would have been students who wouldn't have said any of them, you know, and then obviously there would have been someone who said all of them. But like, I often thought when I'd see the few people coming in, it must have been very hard to, after a rough 2 years, to be, when you knew and other the lads were out on a tractor somewhere earning money or whatever, and you're coming in, like, I mean, that took, to come in and sit exams at all, I think took fierce discipline, like, and I commend you on it. Did you say, to the two of you, did you find it tough in June when you know that a lot of people had parked it and were done, like, and you had to keep going? And
it was.
yeah, I'd imagine so. And so Dean, back to yourself. So you got your requirement to bring it to Limerick, to Mary I.
Yeah, I did.
Right. And obviously there was a huge amount made in the media about accommodation in Ireland and the difficulties of people. What, are you in student accommodation?
I am. I'm in Diggs.
Diggs, very good.
We're just 10 minutes away now from the college. Walk.
So walking distance.
Perfect, yeah.
Brilliant. And you're in with a family there or whatever.
I'm in with a family, yeah. But I rarely see him.
Yeah.
Because I'm only home to sleep, you know.
That's it. Yeah,
So.
yeah. Studying the rest of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And did you have much difficulty getting the accommodation? Like, were you on? Had you applied for kind of pre?
I did.
Results like that?
Early.
Right.
I kind of I kind of started in April.
Right.
Kind of just
looking around and
because the panic was kind of on with everything, and then certainly the end of the whole thing. So we just said,
go for it. And
we just better put our name in. I tried the city campus. I applied for that, and I was on a waiting list.
Okay.
So I said, this is not good enough because that's only
You're leaving
gamble.
it up then.
So we said what we do is we'd make a few phone calls. So we rang Mary I. They had a booking list of the list of houses in each locality of near the college, and they told me, put me onto all this list. So we rang this lady, and she gave me the room. She normally only takes girls' mind.
Right. Okay.
So I was the first lad ever in the house.
Right. But she obviously met you and knew you were steady and you'll be fine.
She trusted you.
That's it. Cian, the Netherlands then, obviously, what was the story with accommodation there? Did you get it through the college, or you got it privately?
I got privately, and it's kind of an estate agent.
Right.
So it's kind of the same as Limerick. It's kind of the housing. It's very hard to get.
Yeah.
So
so you were very lucky to do it.
I was very lucky. I was in a hotel for 3 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Which was about 5 minutes away from the college, so
Right.
it wasn't too bad.
But still, I suppose
still,
there'd be a bill adding up there if you're staying in the hotel too, like.
Yeah.
And say, like, so you're in a private rental, right? Now, is it a 1 bedroom or
1 bed?
1 bed. All right. So that's ideal. Right. Okay. And the city you're in?
Inchkida.
Right. Not far from Amsterdam, is it 2 hours?
2 hour train.
2 hour train. And is it kind of north of Amsterdam or east?
It's east. It's
east.
10 minutes away from the Germany border.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. And I suppose you mentioned there's a few other Irish in the course.
Yeah, there was 10. One dropped out due to UCC college.
Got offered.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But there's 9.
Right.
Yeah.
And would you kind of, I suppose, socialise much together then, or?
Yeah, there's an Irish pub.
Right.
Okay. Molly Malone.
Right. So no, that's good. I think that's really important, like, because I mean you're young, you're 18 years of age, and you're going to a different country with a slightly different culture too in ways, like. So I mean, I think it's very important that you have that, and like, no doubt as the years go on, your friends network will widen a lot more, like, you know. And say in the oh yeah, just to go back, actually, you mentioned, we'll go back to you first, Ian, in terms of Mary I then, is it blended online and in class mixture?
Is it mostly the same as Cian? Yeah.
Would it be that?
You're kind of 50%. I'll just give you an example for history now. Too big, so they're all online.
Okay.
But you'll be in for tutorials maybe once in the week.
Right. And say for the online then with you, Dean, do you go back to the house and up with the laptop, or do you go into the library in the college, or?
You see, it would depend where I am. Let's say if in the morning times, like Monday and Tuesday, for example, I have history at 10.
Right.
So I'd be at home anyway. So I'd get up and I'd watch it. But just maybe in the evening time at 4 o'clock or something, if I had a class in there during the day, I'd just find a space in the college because I'd be there and there's no point going home.
And I suppose you kind of, Well, I think if I was in your situation, I'd like to keep home as the kind of the down zone and the relaxing zone.
Yeah.
And then I'd rather be, if I was in 9 to 5 whatever in the college and in the library, fine. But when you're mixing them, but look, you will have to, I suppose, when exams come on and all. But
you see, that's the hassle. You see, we're not even in. You're only in. You could be in at 12 now.
And
Off
then-
then for the rest of the day.
yeah,
You could be.
yeah. And is there any days that you're not in at all? Like,
Today, for
Today.
example, Friday now.
Right.
I come home most Thursdays. I come
and you're
home.
online then on a Friday, is it?
I'm online then. I had a class there just from 1 to 3.
Right. Okay.
And let's say for example, I came home yesterday evening. My class was at 11 o'clock. I've only one class. That's 11, and I've
Yeah.
done then the rest of the day, all Thursday off, and then of course Friday.
Right. And Keane, yourself then over in the Netherlands, is it a similar kind of a mix, blended online and in person? And at the risk of asking a silly question now, the lectures are obviously in English.
Yeah, they are,
Yeah, and would the lectures be generally Dutch like, or somewhere they wouldn't be? Would they say English wouldn't be their native tongue?
No.
But they'd be fluent out. I
Yeah,
suppose,
there's for first year now. There's 4 teachers.
4.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Okay.
there's 1 for anatomy, and 3 then for
Right.
syllabus 1 is what it's called.
Okay.
But there's 2 sectors. So there's 360 Dutch students,
Right.
and there's 92 international students.
Really?
In first year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big unit.
Yeah.
That's a big unit of classes. And say, I suppose the big question, say, for you, Dean, you liking your course? Are you liking what you're
It is. I'm only 3 weeks in. I do like it. It is
Yeah.
very good, and like I meet so many local people, so many people from Tip up there, sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just like from being at home.
It is down the road, yeah. Which is a total contrast to Keane in the
Oh
Netherlands.
my God.
But say, like, when it came to the CEO, like the 2E were, like, you were quite focused lads, like, so you knew transition, or you were picking your subjects to go where you wanted
Yeah.
to go, and you were pretty similar, like, you kind of,
was.
you had in your head where you were going to go. So I suppose, like, would you say, like, when it comes to the CEO and all, what kind of advice is someone who've just gone through it, what advice would you give to kind of senior cycle students, not just 6 years, but maybe 5th years, or, like, is there anything that you'd say?
Well, in my aspect is look outside
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
the CAO. There's always an option.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some people just think CAO,
Yeah.
Ireland.
Oh, it's just,
You know?
yeah, it's nearly something that's ingrained into us, like,
Yeah.
when they're so, and then, like, it's incredible when there's so many other opportunities that,
Mhm.
that people don't even consider,
Yeah.
like, you know. That's really interesting what you said about that, and I might get the details off you again about the chap who you send the stuff to in the
Yeah.
Netherlands, and he can
Yeah.
later on, but what about yourself, Keane, then? Are you enjoying the course?
I'm loving it.
Really, yeah.
It's very, so say the classes are all hands on.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm loving that.
Really
That's
enjoying it.
that was one of my main reasons for going.
yeah.
It's all hands on. You go home then, you might have 1 or 2 online.
Yeah.
They're 90-minute classes. So
Right,
you might have an anatomy or anatomy biomechanics class.
right,
So
okay.
they're very interesting. I've tests now in 2 weeks' time. So
All right,
they're-
the very best of luck.
Yeah.
And you started a bit like, so the students down in Limerick or wherever are kind of 3 or 4 weeks into it, but you
Yeah.
were,
I was 3 weeks prior
Prior to that, you had started.
leaving cert results.
wow,
Yeah,
so you were gone, and
I was out.
yeah, so, and I suppose, what about yourself, Keane, then, say, would you have any kind of a recommendation or any advice? Say, you said, obviously look outside,
Mhm.
which in terms of, like, say, transition your students now when they're picking their
Yeah.
subjects, right? I think TYs are often kind of with the dilemma of, it's like you were saying that you wouldn't have been fond of the maths, you found it difficult.
Yeah.
I had an Irish, English and French, like, and
Mhm.
languages would by far they'd have been